This is a time for justice. Welcome to today's show. A good friend of mine sent me this article and I did some research on it, and we are headed towards the digital footprint. Now, for those of you that don't know what the digital footprint is, it has everything to do with the Internet of Bodies that we've heard about, spoken about over and over again from people like Klaus Schwab and all these quote-unquote global elites that meet in secret and then, of course, meet in public and tell you their plans to destroy humanity, and people don't seem to care. But now we have Metaverse, which is Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, as well as Instagram, rolling out in Australia and New Zealand what appears to be the digital footprint. For those of you that don't know, it's pretty much a subscription, right? So people just hear that and they're like, oh, a subscription plan to verify my account. Okay, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, when you start having to upload your ID card, like your passport or your license, you're now giving a digital footprint to the internet, because every single thing that you say, every single thing that you do will be tracked all over the internet. And again, this ties into the mark of the beast. People don't understand that. When it's in you, everything you look up, everything you think, every single thing that you purchase, all of these things are going to be tracked. So the digital footprint ties into the carbon footprint. But let's take a look at what Facebook/Meta is planning to do with their subscription service.
Meta is launching a monthly subscription service called Meta Verified, which will let users verify their accounts using a government ID and get a blue badge. The subscription bundle for Instagram and Facebook, announced on Sunday and still being tested, includes extra protection against impersonation. It will be priced starting at $11.99 per month on the web or $14.99 a month on Android or Apple iOS. Meta Verified will be rolled out in Australia and New Zealand this week, with gradual launches elsewhere to follow. It comes after Twitter announced Twitter Blue, priced at $11 a month.
Virtual reality
CEO Mark Zuckerberg has said Meta was planning products that would, quote, empower creators to be way more productive and creative. But he also warned about the cost of supporting the technology for a large user base. Other social media apps, like Snapchat and Telegram, launched paid subscription services last year as a new source of revenue.
And again, for those of you who are unaware of what a digital footprint looks like, this is what it looks like.
If you use the internet, you should be aware of your digital footprint. Just like physical footprints that show someone's steps on a dirt path, your digital footprint is a history of all the activity you do online. Any social media posts you make, any websites you visit, and any information you share online contributes to your digital footprint. Once you post something online, it can't be erased, so your digital footprint can last forever. This can be a good thing if your digital footprint includes things that give you a positive reputation online. This can help you build your personal brand. Your online history can also help the apps you use know more about you. They can use this information to serve you better by adjusting to the things you like and your daily habits. But they can also use this information in the wrong way and share it with others. Keep the following tips in mind when you go online to manage your digital footprint. Tip number 1. Know what your footprint says about you. Other people use your digital footprint to make judgments about you online. This can include employers when you apply for a job or recruiters when you apply for academic programs. It's important to know what your digital footprint says about you and how your information is being used. To see what your personal brand is online, you can search for yourself. Search for your name in the Bing search engine and see what results are displayed. If these results don't show what you want, think about what you share online and what information you allow other people to see. Tip number 2. Manage your privacy settings. You can modify the privacy settings of most of the social media sites and online applications that you use. This can help you control who sees what you share and what information shows up when someone searches for you online. Tip number 3. Manage your cookies. Cookies are notes given to your web browser as you browse the web. These cookies help apps track information that they need while you're using the app. This can help the app work better for you, but this data also contributes to your digital footprint. You can use the settings in your browser to limit or block the use of cookies on certain websites. Tip number 4. Think before you share. Once you share something online, you can't take it back. Make sure you're okay with something being a part of your public digital footprint before you share it. Your digital footprint can live forever. Keep these tips in mind to make sure you're happy with your digital footprint and how it is used.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So just to put it in terms that we can all relate to. Okay? So how are we going to do that? That's like a daunting number, and we've committed to do that. So from a consumer standpoint, at billion consumers, we're developing through technology an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
So some of you might say, well, what's the big deal? I already have a Facebook page with my picture on it. Well, they can't verify or confirm many things online just by doing these, two-step verifications. Like, for example, YouTube. You can only have a monetized channel if you give a phone number. You think I actually give my phone number to YouTube? You don't think that I buy a burner phone every time? I mean, come on. Some people are like, well, that's really crazy. Oh, yeah? Is it? Is it? Well, it's easy to get around their algorithm. It's easier to get around them because they can't really prove that I'm who they think that I am. Despite what many people might claim, they think I'm somebody else. They're all crazy, But my point being is that once you have a footprint embedded online, there's no way around it. There's no sock accounts. There's no trolling. Everything you do and say will be monitored, which means if you post something on Twitter, for example, and you used to have a shadow account, you would post something, or you'd have an account because you don't want people at work to know what you're posting, and you might post conspiracies, you might post some of my videos or things that I talk about. We all obviously have the same things in common, and we're all looking at things the same way for the most part, right? Well, you'll no longer be able to hide. So if you say something about the LGBT or something along those lines, because we know where we're headed with hate speech, it's already bad enough, but it's only going to get worse, and persecution against Christians. So if you say something online like, hey, these people shouldn't be in schools or be in libraries doing this around kids, well, it'll be tracked directly to you. The police could show up at your front door. I mean, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So Mark Zuckerberg announced Meta Verified on his social media accounts. Testing will begin in New Zealand and Australia this week and will roll out to other countries soon. For $12, which seems like an awful lot, $12 just to be verified. I mean, that's the funny part, right? We'd all sit there and be like, who would want to be verified? But some of these people are so sick, they actually want to be verified. I don't really get it. What is the difference? You need to be verified? But they're going to trick them into willingly doing this stuff. Because remember, they don't want to come out and force you to be like, hey, from now on, you need to put your ID on there and we're going to do it. No, people are going to willingly do it. Everything along the lines of how this new world order is coming in place is people asking for it and people willingly doing it. Because then they wipe their hands clean. They're like, well, everybody did this and now everybody's on board anyway. We're just going to make the rest of the people comply. And, they shouldn't have a problem doing it. The majority of society is online doing this stuff. And what are they hiding? And they use all these, psychological tactics to convince people. So for $12 a month on the web or $15 or $15 per month on Apple and Android operating systems, Meta will use a government ID to verify a user's account and give the account a blue badge. Previously, Meta's blue badges were free and reserved for notable public figures or businesses. Subscribers will also get extra protection against account impersonation and direct access to customer support, which you would think that you would get direct access to customer support for pretty much all of these sites, right? You would think even a channel like mine on YouTube would. You don't really get any access to anyone unless you're one of these big fake alt-right companies that could apparently call these people on the phone and talk to them directly. The rest of us aren't even allowed to communicate with them. We just get bots in India who just say, no, your appeals are rejected, your questions we will not answer. But if you pay $15, right, hey, you get a little extra protection as if a regular person really would even need to contact them for anything. I'm not sure what the point is, but we do know that these blue badges, these blue check marks, something used on Twitter, they've been using that as a way to prepare people. The celebrities would get these verified account check marks. I believe that's how it works. I think YouTube might have that as well. I don't care about that stuff, but that's a way to, condition people into having verified accounts, of course. All the celebrities have it. As if, these people start, like I've said over time, that people believe in their own minds now that they're celebrities themselves. They act like it the way that they talk on social media. So they'd be like, yeah, I have a verified account, as if somebody was trying to impersonate them. Subscribers, the new feature, is about increasing authenticity and security across our services. Meta said public figures and others who were previously verified won't be affected by the change. Meta Verified is aimed at influencers and others who use social media for their business but aren't notable public figures. So that would tie into someone like me. And again, they will want me. They're going to make it so that people on YouTube who they would consider influencers are verified so that they could be held accountable. You know, say I do a video and somebody goes out and does something. Well, they want to bring it back to me and then have me held accountable, have the police show up at my door for, you know, talking about something, and then somebody else's emotions make them do something, even though I wouldn't even call or advocate for it. That's how they're going to start doing stuff. And they think that it's going to, stop people like me from making videos and making content, when in reality, like, I don't show my face, so I can go and I can find somebody's license from the, you know what I mean? I mean, there's always ways around it, and there always will be. But, that's one of the benefits of me not putting my face out there. People are like, well, you're scared. Why are you not doing? Well, because if I had my face on every one of these channels, how fast would they be shut off? Very fast. So you got to be smart when you think about some of this stuff, especially knowing what was coming. I knew what was coming when I started. Sometimes I've thought about doing it so I could maybe I have these thoughts in my mind of starting something, a movement, but in reality, it's not time for that yet, because we need to go through the first couple waves of this. Because a movement to me isn't marching with megaphones at YouTube or Washington. That's all stuff they want you to do. That's all puppet stuff. The real revolution comes after the waves start hitting, where, these, like what we're seeing now, chemical bombs and everything else. There's going to be a time period where somebody has to lead, people need to lead and rise up against what's actually happening. So that time is not here yet. Right now, all it would be is smoke and whistles. Oh, we're out there and we're protesting. Yay, what? Or just so we can all hang out and, get on, film us and say we're domestic terrorists and get on a watch list? I mean, come on. You got to be smarter than that. So anyway, Meta Verified is aimed at influencers and others who use social media for their businesses but aren't notable public figures. Meta is taking a page from Twitter's playbook and launching a subscription service. Late last year, Twitter began charging users $8 per month for Twitter Blue, which verifies the account with a blue check. On Saturday, Twitter took the service a step further, announcing that Twitter users would lose their ability to secure their accounts with two-factor authentication unless they pay the $8 monthly Twitter Blue subscription. Social media companies have been trying to find new revenue sources as online advertising slows. Earlier this month, Meta announced its third consecutive quarter of revenue. Who cares? Okay, so look, when you hear this stuff, you're just like, oh, they make you verify the account. Oh, it's a way to make a revenue stream. This is a way for people to start putting their digital footprints online. Not that they're not there already, but look, you might have like Amazon and you might have an account. You might buy stuff on Amazon. Yeah, that stuff's being monitored because your credit card and all that. But now we're talking about getting to a situation where every single thing you do online, they want tracked. Not just purchases, every word that comes out of your mouth online. They're pretending like the internet, because this is their goal with the metaverse and everything else, is going to be the new world that people are living in. And in reality, it is. Because when people start, putting these things inside of their bodies and start, engaging in the metaverse, which is they're trying to condition people for, that is going to be their reality. And most people aren't even living in this reality anyway, so why should it seem like a surprise? But this will be monitoring every single thing you do. So remember, with the carbon footprint, they're monitoring every single thing you do. That includes leaving your home, where you're driving to, and everything else. Here on the internet, this is the other way to monitor and track everything you do, everything you say. You will be arrested for posting things online. You will not be able to hide anymore. If you're somebody who looks at channels like this or websites like, the one I have, you will be marked on a list. This is if you have your digital footprint embedded on the internet. So they're going to start seducing people into giving this stuff away willingly. People are going to go, what's the big deal? I'll put my ID, my thing up there. Well, you could say about a troll and sock accounts, which a lot of people will be like, that's great. We don't need that anyway, because they consider trolling, hate speech, and everything else. I personally consider it funny, even when people troll me, especially when they're really clever about it. But again, we're losing the ability to think and speak. And that's really what this controlled system is all about. And that's why Facebook is doing this, or Meta. That's why Instagram will do it. That's why Twitter's doing it. Zuckerberg is not on your side. Okay, they're trying to embed a digital footprint without telling you it's a digital footprint that's going to track everything. And again, including the stuff you search for, right? And people are just like, oh, well, I better be careful. I'm searching for porn. It's not about that, unless, of course, you're doing something really horrible, which, the government probably would allow you to do anyway. because that's stuff that the government's involved in. We all know what I'm talking about. I can't say it on YouTube. But it's not about that as much as it is monitoring stuff you're researching, stuff that you're looking into, stuff not just that you're buying, stuff that you're saying, things that you're sharing, all of it. They want you 24/7. They want control of you 24/7. They don't like the fact that people like me can wiggle around their garbage, their algorithms, et cetera, et cetera. So we're getting closer to digital footprint. This has been talked about at the World Economic Forum for a while now. And this goes in with the carbon footprint, which is, you think about the carbon footprint, you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to monitor, when you start waking up to that, they're going to monitor and track every single step I take outside in the real world, leaving my house. Well, this is the way to monitor every single thing you do on the internet. So there is no escaping them, is the point. That's what they want. But they use fancy terms like, oh, but this will stop hate speech, and this will make everybody just held accountable, and we won't have any hate online, and people won't be able to post on social media hateful things that cause people to commit suicide. Those are the reasons you hear those stories about social media and people killing themselves, et cetera, et cetera. People will be held accountable. New laws will be put in place. So if you say this and somebody does that, then you're going to jail. Right? Insane stuff. So they make people even more hesitant to post, to talk, to do anything. It's really 1984, again, like I always say, on steroids. I thank everyone for being here. Hope you're doing well. God bless all of you and your families.